Here we are. 2 seconds before I was ready. Episode number 46. One more than 45.
I like to keep you on your toes.
She does. Yeah. So we just made mashed potatoes. And they're really, really good. And there aren't going to be any left over. But if there were some left over, we could make potato pancakes out of them. And we'll do that on another episode.
But we'll make extra mashed potatoes so that we can have the pancakes and the mashed potatoes.
What she means is I'm going to make mashed potatoes that she doesn't know about, so that after she eats them all, I will have a secret stash.
Okay,
and I'll bring
fine.
that up.
If that's what you feel like you need to do.
Not my first rodeo. We are going to do an easy meatloaf. Stop it, Dashi. You're making me crazy. See, she's right here. Right here. See, there's Dashi. We're doing an easy meatloaf. You could get all kinds of fancy meatloafs out there. This is not that show. And I'm going to do something to the vegetables that you could totally skip. I had a request for a after work throw together how to do easy meatloaf and the mashed potatoes. Go away. You had dinner. I have 2 pounds of turkey sitting here, which is why I can't get rid of the turkey on the floor. Here. Olive oil. So what I'm going to do, oops, pour a ton of olive oil in here.
I'm not against it.
Spouts up. I'm going to saute my carrots, onions, and celery, just a little bit more than a cup of each one, in the pan and soften them and caramelize them. This is the step that you can skip if you're in a hurry, because these 3 things will bake just fine in the meatloaf all by itself. I'm just going to do this one extra step. If you have the time and you made our vegetable stock, or you saw that episode where we caramelized the vegetables first before we make the stock out of them, you'll know why I'm doing that now. This is the part you can skip if you want, but hey.
It just ups the level of delicious.
It does. You throw onions in a pan and saute them in olive oil, and the whole house, everyone in the house thinks you're cooking. It buys you like 45 minutes. It does if you turn the burner.
Key part of the cooking process, turn the burner on.
So we're also making a meatloaf that I grew up eating and then grew up making. This is not anything super fancy. I do the old ketchup and brown sugar on the top. Some people do barbecue sauce. Some people do, they wrap it in bacon. And some people do just straight ketchup or nothing at all. And there's all kinds of answers to meatloaf. This is the one that I was raised on. This is the one that I'm teaching you guys to make for when you're home from work. And also, it's going to be shaped to be just the perfect size for sandwiches when we're done.
Beautiful.
I know, right? Meatloaf sandwiches, that's my favorite. And I don't know how to have meatloaf without cranberry sauce, with the ripples.
We call it canberry sauce.
Canberry sauce. I don't even know how to eat meatloaf without it, especially the meatloaf sandwiches. It's got to have a little bit of canberry and white bread.
In my house, we have fights about whether it's canberry sauce or whether it's fresh made cranberry sauce, which...
There's no fight in my house. It's canberry.
Yeah. Canberry is the only way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all can slave over a hot cranberry, but...
No.
It's the ripples that make the difference.
Talk amongst yourselves. I gotta get a spoon.
I don't have anything to say. I don't know if you realize that. And we're back.
My favorite spoon, made by Jake. He lives over there.
One day when all this is over, we'll have Jake on the show.
I keep threatening that I'm going to show up in his garage to make spoons and knives with him. And he's like, give me a day head start so I can clean it. And I'm like, no.
We have very talented neighbors, I have
do.
to say.
We do.
All right,
we're going to go to a little time lapse because all I'm doing is sauteing the carrots, onions, and celery. And the carrots are going to take the longest, so see you in about 4 minutes. We are back. I sauteed the onions, carrots, and celery, otherwise known as the mirepoix. I have a little over 2 pounds of ground turkey here. Now, what you use to make your meatloaf out of the ground meat is up to you. Traditionally, it is ground beef, ground pork, and ground veal, kind of like the Italian meatloaf.
Do you put them all in together, or you have one of those?
You would put them all together. That was the original traditional recipe. I never had ground veal and anything growing up. I probably didn't have ground pork either. It was always ground beef. I switched it to ground turkey, and I used to do a turkey beef blend for a while. Now I just do straight ground turkey, which I really like. It's really lean, but it also has a chance to be dry. So we're gonna do some things to ensure that this isn't dry. And that's gonna involve breadcrumbs and an egg. And then again, because I sauteed these, they're nice and soft, and they're gonna let go of a lot of liquid. So, also the traditional French onion soup packet. This one I already pinched some out of this envelope to make some French onion dip, because that was very important at the time. And I'm gonna use the rest of it in here. And I don't have any more, and it's the, the apocalypse, so I don't care. I'm using what I have, and I'll just add some more pepper or something, and it goes. So 1 package of Lipton onion, French onion soup mix.
So I know that you're doing this with straight up breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
I will tell you, as somebody who often avoids bread, I use pork rind. They sell pork rinds in crumbs, and that makes a lovely breadcrumb alternative.
I find that very interesting.
It is delicious. It's the same consistency. I'd be curious if you ever try it.
Have to give it a whirl.
For our non-bread eating humans.
Yeah. So I put the breadcrumbs down and then the hot stuff on top, because I don't want it to make the ground turkey go a little banana. I'm going to crack this egg into this bowl, because again, we don't crack an egg into our major bowl of ingredients, because if this egg is bad, I lost all of this. So I want to crack it always into something separate. Crack it, boop, there's a good egg. Yay, nice clear yolk. Nothing crazy, no weird smell, in it goes. It's a good little insurance policy if you've ever cracked a bad egg.
I don't know that in my life I've never cracked a bad egg, but I imagine it happens.
Yeah, so I've been a pastry chef for a long time. And in my entire career, cracking eggs at home and at work, I might have cracked 1 or 2 bad eggs in my life at that time. And at the last restaurant, Black Pearl, that I was at, we got a shipment of eggs in, and they were not from our typical vendor. We had to go off-brand for a minute, and I was like, stop. I was not even under the second shelf of eggs, and the second layer of eggs in the case. I said I cracked 3 of them that were bad.
Oh, interesting.
More than I've ever cracked in my entire career. Like,
and
this
the pre-cracked saved what you were baking.
For sure. Yeah, because I was cracking into a separate bowl. But you crack a bad egg, you will never forget it, believe me.
Bad smell.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'm just going to incorporate this. I am going to get my hand in there and mush it all around, but the onions and everything are still hot from coming out of that pan, so I'm using the spoon.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do it that way, but I'm gonna, and I'll see you in a minute.
All right.
We are back. I incorporated all of the sauteed veg and the onion soup mix and the breadcrumbs. I was up to about 1.5 cups now. I used 2 pounds of meat, and this is turning into a lot. Start with a pound of meat for dinner for 3 or 4 people. If you want leftovers, definitely go up to 1.5 pounds. This was 2 pounds. I'm going to turn this into 2 meatloafs on the sheet tray, and we'll have a lot of leftovers. People want to make these things in a loaf pan. You can do that, but you're going to have a longer cooking time.
Plus, it kind of I like the crispy bits on the edge.
I like the crispy bits too, and I like the more room for the ketchup and brown sugar that I'm going to put on there, because that's what I was raised on. Also, I'm going to shape mine so that 2 slices side by side make a nice meatloaf sandwich on flippy floppy white bread, which you can't do if you made it in a loaf pan, just saying. So here we go, flopping this very ungracefully onto sheet tray. Doesn't that look delicious?
Not particularly,
No.
but I know it's going to turn out well.
It doesn't look delicious at all, but it'll get there.
I like
Oh my
the
God,
way turkey tastes, but I don't like the consistency of turkey meat.
Ground turkey it's so weird. It's like a paste, but if you went meatloaf, it's delicious. Meatballs, it's delicious. We're gonna do a pasta carbonara. No, we're doing a bolognese pretty soon. Next week we're doing a bolognese sauce, and I'm gonna use ground turkey in that, and it's delightful to work with this. It's weird, but putting that right over there.
But I like the way it turns out after you
No,
cook
I gotta
it.
get my hands. I gotta get my hands wet, and they'll help it not stick to my hands.
Good idea. Have you ever thought of oil? But water
We can
works
use
better.
water. Look, water's here. See, nothing's sticking. So we're gonna make 2 even piles. Oop. I know, very unglamorous, gooey.
And it's a little thinner than normal meatloaf. Or meatloaf that I've had, I guess.
Right. So I'm gonna make some that are shallower.
And they cook faster, I
They
imagine.
cook faster. More surface area, less volume, less body in the middle, and you'll have a faster cooking temperature. Cooking time, rather. It's at 350.
So you're preheating the oven right now to 350?
Yep. And I'm going to make a little valley in the middle so that our glorious brown sugar ketchup mixture doesn't run off the sides and onto the sheet tray. No, we want that on the meatloaf. So stay right there in your little gravy boat. See a little gravy boat? Look at that.
We'll come up, we'll do a little aerial.
Yeah.
This is our fancy camera work.
So this will, when we slice it this way, 2 slices side by side on bread. Perfect sandwich. You're welcome. I'm going to rinse my hands real quick. We're back. Just washed my hands. I have about a cup of brown sugar. Again, this is for 2 pounds of turkey, which is making like 2.5 or 3 pounds of meatloaf with all the veg in there. And I'm adding about another cup of ketchup. Did I bring a spoon? Nope. I'll be right back.
There's almost more brown sugar than there is ketchup.
I'll fix it.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's wrong.
I'll fix it.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
It's not wrong. It's totally right.
It's the rightest thing. Are you putting anything else in there besides brown sugar and ketchup?
This is my down and dirty fast meatloaf. So this is as fancy as we are getting. Like I said, some people put barbecue sauce. Some people do a hot sauce. Some people just do tomato sauce or whatever, or just plain ketchup. I don't know what those people are doing. I can't.
Seems like a lot of work.
Yeah. All I know is that this is the one I want when I want it. When baby wants meatloaf, baby gets meatloaf.
I like the meatloaf sandwich, particularly on your sourdough bread that you are perfecting.
That's getting good.
Yeah, the sourdough bread is getting pretty amazing.
I'm getting some serious air bubbles. For all you sourdough bakers out there, you know it's all about the bubbles. And I'm getting some air bubbles.
It's competitive sourdough.
I'm sort of competitive.
I feel like the whole nation is now competitive in sourdough.
You're not wrong.
We got rid of football and we ended up with sourdough.
Sourdough.
I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that.
I don't want to see the sourdough cheerleaders. I really don't, actually. There's a halftime show that I could miss.
Maybe.
All right, so I got it all sitting in the little gravy boat, and I'm going to spread a little around the edges because, you know, everyone needs a little bit of the love.
Did you pick that bowl on purpose?
No.
It looks perfect with the ketchup.
Ooh la la. But the majority of it is going to stay in the middle where we want it to.
Well, and imagine the sugar, does that kind of add to that crispy, crusty
Yes.
shenanigan that goes on your...
It sure does. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. Sorry, different show.
Different show, very much so.
Okay, preheated oven, 350 degrees. Look, I don't need a loaf pan. It's just a sheet tray. I always put something down on my sheet tray. It just saves me a lot of elbow grease cleaning. This is a Silpat liner. Use parchment. Just use something. It makes everything easier. It's gonna go for about 30 minutes, maybe 45. I have a meat temp. I wanna make sure that when I put it right in the middle, going this way, that's gonna be 165. Once it hits 165, it's gonna be totally done. It can come out of the oven at 155, and I can set it down, and I know that the residual, cooking will, the remainder will get to 165. So oven, 350, see in about 40 minutes. We're back. That meatloaf is done, ready to come out of the oven. Did anybody notice that I got new hot pads? I have new hot pads.
I didn't notice. Sorry.
I'll just get the meatloaf.
Does the Duke swag, do you have hot pads in the Duke swag?
We do not have hot pads.
You should.
I know, right?
Oh my God, those look amazing.
And then one gets hooked on the, ow.
Careful.
One gets hooked on the grill.
I'm coming in for a close-up. Okay.
Come on, call.
Bad things are happening.
Done.
The hot pads didn't work out for you, that's fine.
There.
But I just want to get a really good close-up of how awesome. And look at all the crunchy bits down at the very bottom. Like,
Oh, yeah. So
that's the
all
piece
super
that I'm going to eat.
delicious
I'm just
stuff.
going to cut around the whole edge of it.
This is
Yeah.
like ketchup candy.
The ketchup candy.
It's a phrase. Stick with me. You'll learn the lingo.
You got it. You got it going on. All right.
Right, so when you test this, so your meat thermometer in like that. If it goes up to 155, you know it'll carry over to 165 and you're good. That zipped all the way up there. It's at 160. So yeah, we're good to go. We're gonna cut into this. Gotta have the canberry because I don't know how to have meatloaf without it. Tomorrow we're doing sandwiches. Thanks for watching episode 46 of Duke's Apocalypse Kitchen. We'll see you later.